want you to take a second and in your heads, guess how many kids you think are in the foster care system right now. According to Children's Rights, there are 500,000 children in the foster care system at any given time. Let's take a moment to comprehend this. That is almost the size of the entire population of North Dakota. And of that 500,000, according to Adoption Network, there are 100,000 children who are waiting to be adopted. Foster care is the temporary service for kids who cannot live with their families until they are able to go back to their families or find a new home to live in. My family has been fostering for 2.5 years now. Since foster care is a prominent issue in our community, it is important to know the reasons why kids enter foster care, the need for foster families, and how to get licensed. According to an article written by Amy Harmon on Adoption.com, there are 8 most common reasons why children enter the foster care system. The first reason is abuse. This includes both physical and sexual abuse. Although all reasons for kids entering the foster care system are traumatic to the child, this tends to be the most traumatic of them all. The second reason is neglect. This includes both physical, mental, and medical neglect. According to Brittany Schenk, who is a licensed counselor at Abound Counseling, this neglect can cause attachment disorders, bad eating and hygiene habits, as well as many times it can cause the children to act younger than their age because they didn't receive that love and nurture that they needed as a young child. The next reasons include death, illness, incarcerated parents, and one of the most common of them all, drugs in the house, and uncontrollable children or voluntary placement. The first goal of social services is to place the child with family or relative, but many times they are unable, unwilling, or unqualified to take in the child. One of the big reasons is because they have to be licensed in order to take in that child, even if they are a family member of them. Now let's go back to that number, 500,000. This number of foster children is still increasing. Many times, if they can't find a foster home for the child right away, then the social workers end up staying in a hotel with these children until they can find a placement or a home for them. I know that this has happened in my community, and it can go up to a couple weeks where the social worker has to stay in a hotel with them. According to an article written in the Huffington Post by Dr. John DeGarmo, there is a 30 to 50% turnover rate for foster parents. Much of this is due to the loss that foster parents feel after they've been nurturing and loving children for so long, and then they move on to a different home or go back to their families. Another major reason is the restrictions that are placed on foster families. One of these restrictions is that they have to be 21 to drive the children, and the other ones include that some things as simple as haircuts, they have to get permission from parents, as well as if they need to go out of town, they have to be placed with a licensed foster family. But perhaps one of the biggest deterrents is the difficult licensing process that the foster families have to go through. The first step in the licensing process is the application. Now, for the whole licensing process, the time for everyone varies. For my family, it took about 6 months. The next step is the background check and fingerprints. This is for anyone in the house that is of 18 years of age or older. One of the longer steps in this process is the home study and inspection. This is to ensure that the family is safe and stable for the foster children that they will be taking in. The medical records of the family must also be turned over to social services. One of the longest and hardest processes of the licensing for the parents is the training. Every foster parent must go to 27 hours of training in order to get licensed to be a foster parent. This is according to the DCYF. And after that year, they must go to 18 hours in order to maintain their license. So in conclusion, today I discussed why kids enter the foster care system, the need for foster families, and the licensing process. As awareness for foster care continues to grow, involvement will continue to grow as well.